Alright everyone, chances are, if you're seeing this video, you've seen the introduction video going over the general premise of this series. In case you haven't, I'll be making a playlist that each episode will be added to as they release, and by the end, the entire series will be easily accessible in one place. Hello everybody, you're watching Variety Television and welcome back to another entry in the Build a Pikmin series. I have two announcements to make about the series before we get started, so let's get them out of the way quickly. For any other Pikmin creators out there, I have created the hashtag #BuildAPikmin and used it on the entries of this series to make this whole thing a more cohesive experience if anyone else decides to do this. The other announcement is that I am terrible at coming up with names, so if anybody comes up with a good name for my hypothetical Pikmin game, please put it down below. And if I end up using yours, you will get a shout out in the video where the title is announced. When the last entry was uploaded, the most amount of you requested that we go over the gameplay loop next, so that's what we'll be covering today. Essentially, the gameplay loop is broken down into 3 segments. One of these segments largely pertains to the story, so I'll cover it in more detail during the story episode of this series. The first gameplay loop segment is what I like to refer as exploration mode. All of the segments will kind of flow together to make one experience, but I'm referring to them as modes to better differentiate what aspect of the gameplay I'm specifically referring to. So, exploration mode. This is one of the most major loops of the game, as it is in any Pikmin game. The difference with the exploration in this game is that your days and nights won't be broken up. The reason for this will be explained in the story segment, but it's important to know. The player's character stays planetside for the entire adventure. Think about Breath of the Wild, for example. We will see our character tirelessly explore the map. Exploration mode will predominantly run off of a combination of your Pikmin and your constructs. I don't see this gameplay working with the standard map formula, so this one is going to be vastly different. Rather than multiple maps that you choose between each day, there will be one massive and diverse map, with almost any open clearing large enough to set up in being a viable base location. This will allow you to freely explore as well as keep on top of your Dandori by making sure your base is always strategically placed. This also allows the fluidity of the day-night cycle to work, as you don't have to return each night and select which area you're going to next. Rather, day will flow into night seamlessly, and the breaks will be provided by changes in gameplay instead of the day ending. On top of this, construction will play a large part in exploration, as Ochi or any other rescue pups won't be with us. The Pikmin and our constructs are the only company in this eerie and lonely Pikmin game. You'll need to build ladders, bridges, ramps, and even vehicles to explore. Imagine all of the usage that Ochi gave us before. You could have all your Pikmin together in one small group, you could swim with them and even rush enemies. Things like a rover, a boat, and a battering board will help replace Ochi but retain his functionality. Nighttime exploration will be similar to the nighttime expeditions of Pikmin 4, but it's not about defending a luminol. When night falls, the enemies will indeed become more aggressive, but you'll still be exploring just like you were during the daytime. Glow Pikmin will make a return here for nighttime exploration, but the way you get them and the way you'll need to manage them is incredibly different from Pikmin 4. In this game, there is a certain location or series of locations that you can grow more Glow Pikmin, but only Glow Pikmin can grow more. What this means is, upon discovery of the first Glow Pikmin, you'll need to grow more of them, but this is only an option at night. Obviously, Glow Pikmin are incredibly powerful, and being implemented into regular exploration, even at night, will need certain aspects to balance them out. You will have the option to use your regular Pikmin as well as constructs at night, and Glow Pikmin are fully optional. To counter the much more aggressive enemies you'll encounter, a player may find it beneficial to use Glow Pikmin to explore at night, however. To balance this, enemies defeated during the day will respawn at night, meaning you can't easily take out enemies during the day and then ransack the rest of the map with Glow Pikmin during the night. During each night, enemies will come back to act as a natural roadblock for players. The other balancing thing is the way Glow Pikmin act when they are defeated in battle or when daylight comes. Again, more specifics on why this behavior exists will be gone over in a more lore-centric video, and the more balancing aspects of Pikmin will be gone over in a dedicated balancing video. Also, I plan on making Piclopedia-esque entries about every single thing that we go over in this game, so it'll be very in-depth and lore-heavy. Anyways, in Pikmin 4, when a glow Pikmin is defeated, they turn into light and then return to the luminol. In this game, the same thing happens with the location I mentioned earlier rather than a luminol, and those glow Pikmin are no longer usable despite not actually being gone, or whatever the equivalent is for a light creature. As for the daytime, your glow Pikmin will be immediately defeated the moment the sunlight touches them. But the glow Pikmin know this, obviously, so they return to their closest home location on their own at sunrise. This is interesting for gameplay because regardless of what actions they're doing, they will just stop and go home. If you're in a dangerous spot fighting a difficult enemy as the sun rises, your squad of 100 glow Pikmin will just abandon you, and this could leave you in a very bad spot. So time management becomes crucial at night. Of course, like I said before, you could always risk using your regular Pikmin to alleviate that factor, but at the risk of losing many more Pikmin as a result. So, day and night exploration cycles, where you have the option to grow and use glow Pikmin during the night alongside your regular squad. Also, as you explore, you'll find many different metal and mineral deposits. Collecting material from these is going to be crucial for the next part of gameplay. And the part in reference is Defense Mode. If any of you have played Breath of the Wild or Terraria, this mode will be a bit familiar to you. It's also similar to the night expeditions of Pikmin 4. This mode is a functional blood moon. Not an actual blood moon, not in my Pikmin game anyway, but the same function as one. Due to an event that happens in the story, there are points in time where, no matter where you are or what you're doing, your base will fall under attack. Waves of enemies will advance towards your base as they're attracted to the materials you've gathered. The reasons for this will be explained in the story video, but nearly every enemy can consume different raw materials for different purposes of their own. This makes enemies attracted to your base during this mode, as that's where all of your materials are kept. Defense mode trades a more time management aspect for a resource management aspect as the primary factor. Defense mode can kick in regardless of time, but nighttime defense modes won't happen until a certain point in the game where the player is better equipped to handle them. During this mode, your ship pod becomes the main point to defend. Inside of it are all of your materials, and enemies absolutely can drain these materials if they attack the pod. What happens if you have no materials in the pod? Well, chances are you won't be defending yourself very well without the ability to build anything or repair your defenses. Pikmin alone won't typically be enough for this mode. You'll really need to combine the use of construction and Pikmin to optimize your success chances. Also, your ship is going to be built out of these materials that you'll be working very hard to collect the materials to use to rebuild your ship, and any construct you make out of materials becomes a target as well. Your cannons and drills near the base will become targets as they're made of the materials that the enemies are after. If your pod is devoid of materials, they'll attack whatever you've rebuilt of the ship instead, and decrease your progression towards the end goal. Having material in your pod will function as a sort of barrier for your ship, and so keeping materials inside will help you maintain your progress. Your structures will come under attack and materials will be needed to repair them, or they'll be destroyed. Your constructions cannot be moved, however, they can be deconstructed to get a small portion of the materials back. Placing them strategically and deconstructing ones you'll no longer need is the key to defense mode. One of the other keys is gates. In many of these areas there will be certain walls close enough to close up with a gate. Why would you do this, you ask? Well, it's another form of management brought to you by defense mode. You greatly increase your chances of defending if you have dirt walls or electric gates up, but you also have to use materials to build them, and they must be destroyed or deconstructed to be out of the way. So essentially, you can trade potential paths and shortcuts for greater defense, and then trade it back to being a shortcut at the cost of materials. I'll have a video dedicated to everything you can build and upgrade in the future, so I won't dwell too much on the construction aspect. Next up is training mode, and let's just say this is the one that I can't really talk about without spoiling a major story point, so if you all want to hear about it, vote for story in the comments. Essentially, this will be a challenge mode for the game, similar to what we saw from Pikmin 3 Deluxe, but more interwoven with the main gameplay, and that's about all I can say about it. I guess that about covers the general gameplay loop, so again, I'll leave the next entry to you all to decide. Story, constructions, Pikmin, environments, whatever gets the most comments requesting that specific topic will be the focus of the next episode of this series. Let me know what you think of my gameplay ideas down below, and thanks so much for watching this. Subscribe to keep up with the series and leave a like if you liked it. That's it for the Gameplay Loop episode, but stay tuned, Variety Television will be right back.